Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, as always, I'd like to give all honor and glory and praise and worship to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH. Double honors to our apostle, elders, and bishop, the great millstone, who will teach you on sound doctrine and strong shalom to the hopeful elect and the rest of the large multitude of men, women, and children. That the Lord have mercy on these perilous times and the dangerous times. Okay. Uh, your brother Kadash come back with a quick lesson through the spirit and power. Yahweh Shalom, Lord willing, is edifying. So like I was checking this. Uh, check away. Make sure this. Uh, yeah, the title of this, through the spirit of your freedom will be your downfall. Right, mainly talking to Esau, Edom, and 2/3 of our nation, who are aligned with the beast. You know, the fact that Edom roams free with no bounds. All right, if you will, in terms of judgment. Okay, it allows him to build up more iniquity, which ultimately is going to be the downfall, his downfall. Okay, because something that's left something that's left unchecked, all right, the more you allow it to fester, the bigger it grows, and just like a cancer or a sickness in the body, the longer it waits and grows and has time to feed in that particular area, it becomes more dangerous if it's hazardous anyways. And Esau is hazardous to the earth. So Esau unchecked increased the wickedness on the earth. Matter of fact, just to prove that, First Maccabees 1:9. I'm gonna start at 7. So Alexander, which was an Edomite, right? He was the leader of the Greek Empire, a general, okay, who took down, all right, the area Asia Minor, right? Uh, he spread fast, right, over a span of 12 years, and he did it quick. He wore a leopard print, all right, and he also moved fast like a leopard, all right, pursuing the Daniel chapter 8, right, and 7, right, but mainly 8 going into how swift he was, you know, uh, you know, coming after the Medo-Persian Empire, you know, he established his throne, and he was an Edomite, you know, he was an Edomite. He was the type of war general that would go to war. He also was a flame, but he also would go to war with his men on the front line. So they esteem this guy with high esteem. So it says First Maccabees 1:7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. His servants bear rule, everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. Right, and from this, you have 4 generals that spawn out of this, which was uh uh Lasamachus, Cassandra, Ptolemy, and Cassandra, which was his 4 generals, put Ptolemy and Seleucid, uh, uh, being the primary 2 that the 6 Syrian wars were were based out of, and so forth. So you had them 4 generals that came from him. So this is who he's talking about. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. And because this bloodline, this family, all right, took precedence over the earth, the known world at the time, which then spread, you know what I'm saying, in bigger landmass. And then now what we have today, the western side of the world, and eventually the whole globe, okay, evils were multiplied on the earth. So if evils were multiplied in the known world at that time, how much more the whole world? Okay. This is Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. It covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So this man that governs the earth right now, right? Meaning he dressed the earth, if you will, all right, with his mindset, you know, the wicked runs the earth, Esau Edom. And it now is a dark cloud over the four corners of the earth. And therefore, because of this, all right, it allowed him to gain more power by the way of his sword, by the blessing that Isaac blessed him with, which was the sword, you know, and evils increased, iniquity has multiplied, you know, the man of sin, the son of perdition, has increased his ways on the earth. Everybody live according to his ways, man. They're confederate against Israel, and they join alliances with each other to keep us, the righteous vibration, from correcting the ways of the that's off. You know, uh, I was thinking of a precept, I can't remember, but Esau Edom. Go to Second Maccabees 7:16, dealing with the 7 children that was slaughtered by the hand of Antiochus, right in front of their mom. It says, then he looked, he unto the king, right? This is the 5th son, and said, thou hast power over men that are corruptible. Thou doest what thou wilt. So he told him, he said, you got power over men, but you're corruptible, right? And he said, thou doest what thou wilt. So doing what you will brings corruption. See, doing what you will brings corruption. Okay? So the very concept of your freedom allowed you to reach the max in corruption. You see? Because you live contrary to the ways of life. So the longer you indulge in that way, it increases. Scripture say a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. Right? The physician cut off a long disease, because if you don't cut it off, it spreads and it grows like a consuming fire. You see? And that's Esau Edom, his wickedness, his concept, and his mindset on the planet Earth has been left unchecked for a period of time for prophecy's sake. You know, we could get that in uh what's that, Ecclesiastes let me see, Ecclesiastes what, 8? Let's start at let's go right to 11, Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. So because judgment wasn't done with haste, okay, according to man's time, it fully persuaded Esau's mind to increase in his ways. And so for the people who also think like him as well, because the people don't get judged. You might have had a man commit adultery, and now he has lived a long life, but that don't mean that he escaped the judgment that comes with that. You know, everything is done in due season. You know, and the same with Esau Edom. So the very fact that he has freedom and he can roam on the earth right now as he will, right? Because he was once in subjection under our forefathers, King David. You know, the Byzantine Empire. You know what I'm saying? King David, King Solomon, right? That is a Byzantine Empire. You know, he was in subjection at one point, but the scriptures say, the prophets say, he will break the yoke off his neck, believing according to Deuteronomy. So now, matter of fact, when you go to Revelations 20, it says, and I saw an angel come down from the heaven, having the keys of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand, right? Bottomless pit being Europe, you know, the land of darkness. It's a pit with no resources, all right? And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, right? And the Byzantine Empire, when Jake were calling themselves Moors, right, took over took over that Europe, in that hemisphere, for 1,000 years, and they ruled, man. You know, the Byzantine Empire is what it's called. They called it the Dark Ages, and they ruled, a particular time, roughly 1,000 years or so, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up, and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. So he's loose now. Okay, he came back into power. You had different forms of the Roman Empire, Holy Roman Empire, the West. Jake took over the eastern side of the Roman Empire. Esau had the western side. You know what I'm saying? So you had this man in rulership in various ways in different areas, in different time zones. But when he came back into power, known as the Renaissance Empire, which means rebirth, you know, the Roman Empire was stronger than before, and now you still see what you see a continuation of that Roman Empire today. This is an extension and a little horn that came out of that little horn pursuing the book of Daniel, which is America the Great. Which is known as Babylon the Great in many names. Nineveh, spiritually, right? Sodom and Gomorrah, spiritually, Egypt, and so forth. And this now he's loosed a little season. Now he's roaming as he will. He went to and fro, conquering lands, removing landmarks, taking heritages, lands, and cattle. All right, taking cultures and the ways that people think and move. You know, this man has been loosed a little season, and this the little season in which we're in right now, in which he's coming to an end. You see, but this was ultimately to set him up and have him fall in his own trap. Like I just said, he was loosed a little season, and to prove that, you go to Psalms 9. It says Psalms 9 and 15: the heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made, in the net which they hid is their own foot taken. So all these traps he set up that was supposed to consume Israel were ultimately traps for himself. The fact that you let this or you did this or that to try to consume us, it backfired on you. Like the internet is a prime example. You set up the internet to be a snare unto us, right? To push wickedness at a faster pace, but it ultimately was a trap unto you. The web, you got caught in the web that you laid. The internet, the World Wide Web, it was used for our benefit. Like you can't do nothing against the truth but for the truth, and it was used for our benefit so that we can gain the truth at a massive rate, at an expedited rate, because the Lord was going to shorten the times up for the elect's sake, to consume the wicked, from the wicked spreading, his madness even further, because the scripture talking about he set a bound where Esau could not pass. So, and he's reaching that limit, and his freedom to be able to spread wickedness on the earth will ultimately going to backfire against him. You see, because by Esau being able to be loose, and wickedness being able to be, because he's the top wizard on the earth, by him being able to be free and to do this madness on the earth, it was going to issue in the Lord to speed up the times, because the wickedness is so great, which was ultimately going to wake up the elect quicker. The elect was going to wake up out of this, and a lot of things came from Edom being loose. You see, because you remember, by him being loose, it allowed prophecies to come to pass. The transatlantic slave and other slave trades that happened to Israel, and with us discontinuing from our heritage. This is the only captivity where we didn't completely know who we were. We had to come back into way of remembrance of these things. You see, so these things had to come. It was a necessary evil of Esau Edom being loosed a little season, man, for other things to come into effect. Uh, this is Psalms 9 and 15 again. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made, and the net which they hid is their own foot taken. See? Because why? The Lord is known by the judgment which he executed. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands, Higgaion Salah. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forgot the Most High. By the scripture say, pride is when one depart from his maker. So the fact that he was able to roam free, it allowed him to be puffed up with pride. The scripture talking about knowledge puffeth up. So the longer he was free, the more he had time to what? The scripture talking about he had a diligent search. All right. He saw search out matters. Okay. So to keep his lie going. So he had to know the truth in order to keep his lie at a certain degree. So it allowed him to actually get puffed up with pride the more he started to know, to the point that what? He thought, like it says in Psalm 50, he thought the Lord was with him. He took the covenant in his name, in his possession, said he was the people, started to puff up knowledge. The more he started to find out, and the more he kept records of, and the more he took away from us, it puffed him up to the point he thought he was unstoppable. It says, where is that in Psalms 50? It says, uh, the altar, one thyself. Let me see, where is it at? Um, 21. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. You see, so the Lord kept silence for a season, and it allowed Esau to puff up because he increased in knowledge. Knowledge should be increased. He's in the forefront of everything. He allowed Jake, he captured Jake, the best of Jake, and allowed him to do what they do as he always did in the past, and then he would take the credit for it. So knowledge increased. So his pride also kept going up and up to the point, like I said, he now has a God complex where he think he's unstoppable. He can't. Now he think the Lord himself, who gave him the power, can't even stop him. But his freedom, this allowed his freedom to excel, which ultimately was was his own trap, his own snare. His freedom was his trap, and it was beautifully designed by Yahawah. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before my eyes. Right, to the point that the thought the Yahawah was on their side, man. They thought the Lord, Yahawah was their God, man. Even though they served Satan, even though the elites, top elites, know who exactly what's going on, who they serve, they still prideful enough to think that they somehow got the Lord chained up. Remember, these are the same people who actually physically chained up Yahawah. you know? So these people, their mind is at a high level of pride, man. You can't tell this man to the point, it ain't nothing you can tell an Edomite, you know? It don't matter what he see or what he do or what comes, it's nothing you can tell him, because he has reached that pinnacle. Revelation 18:7, how much she had glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. She lived deliciously. When you live deliciously, that means you have the power. You can do as you want and come and go as you will, you know. But remember, that was a trap unto him. It was a snare. He's going to fall in his own hands, as we read in Psalms 9. You see, and it said in Psalms 50 that the Lord was going to reprove thee. You see, for she had said in her heart, I said, a queen am no widow and shall see no sorrow. And what's the results of her freedom? Therefore shall all her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahawah who judgeth her. See? And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. And that's the end game. That's the end results of Babylon the Great. Smell of smoke of burning, man. Rob, because you have lived deliciously and you have lived in freedom. And we read in Second Maccabees that doing what thy will, meaning living in freedom, brings corruption. And that's what happened to the earth. You brought corruption to the earth because you had no bounds. You had no morale about yourself, no character. You had no structure, no order, because the ways of Yahawah is the order. And you shunned that, and you didn't hold these ways up. You took the book and the covenant and still didn't hold the ways of Yahawah Yahawashi up. You pretended sometimes. You had like in America they used to have the Sabbath. They would so-called rest on the Sabbath. They would shut everything down on Sunday and so forth. They would say that was the Sabbath, and they would shut. I forgot the name for it, but they would shut everything down. They got the Bible. They you know you're not supposed to, but they swear in their inaugurations. They got them in their courtrooms. They got them in their hotels. They had them in the schools at one point. So they pretended to uphold the ways of the Lord, right, without upholding the ways of the Lord. You see. So therefore, what he lived in freedom, man. He was loose a little season, and this is the result. The world is in chaos. It's in death. Everything is dying, and the world and the people in it, man. Okay, so therefore the result is judgment with fire, man. All right, you have to be cleansed. You have to be purged, man. So Lord willing, this quick lesson was edifying, like to give honor and glory and praise and worship to BAHASHAM, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH. Double honors again to our apostles, elders, and bishops, great millstone, who will teach you on sound doctrine. Like the title says, your freedom will be your downfall. And that goes for 2/3 of our people too, because like the scripture said in Isaiah 30 or 31, one of the two, he that hoping shall fall. All right. And they should fall down together, man. You know what I'm saying? So Lord willing, it's fine. Till next time. Kwan Yashala, Shalom.